All right, I got it. She's gonna love it. Let's go.
Whoa, how'd you find a card so fast?
I am a speaker of lady language. I hear their voices in my head, much like Beethoven heard music.
No, I think those are just voices.
Either way, I've got a card, and you don't.
I'm trying to find one with the right words. I can't find one that really describes how I feel.
Here, this one.
This one. This is the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Sugar is sweet and so is honey. I bought you this card because I had no money.
That is so you.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's not me.
What are you trying to say?
I need a card that says, I don't deserve you. I never have, and I never will. From the moment that I first saw you, I knew that I wanted to be with you, to know you, to understand you. I am humbled that you chose me. I have married out of my league, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't recognize that fact. And I've never taken our vows lightly. What do I say to the mother of my children, my best friend, my soulmate? I love you can just sound so cliche and trite, but it's the only words that I know. I love you. I mean, that would be a card, you know? That would be a card that I'd want to buy. What's the matter? What happened?
Don't look at me.
Okay.
Look away.
I have. What's the matter?
It's like I'm a swimming pool, and your words are like cannonballs landing. Pull yourself together, man. Attention, everybody. We are in the presence of a true wordsmith.
No, we're not.
Allow his words to be the wings on which your cards fly.
No.
I want what he's having.
Okay, we need to go. We need to go right now.
I've got an idea. We'll get those cards that are blank on the inside, and we'll write your words on them, and then we'll give them to our ladies. But we have to write in calligraphy.
I'm just going to take your card.
Wait, what was that part about the true soulmates? I need a pen. I gotta write this down. That stuff is gold. That'll give me a whole Sunday of football.
Words have so much power. This thing called love, a crazy little thing called love, you know, it just does something to us. But the thing is, if love is not extended to your partner and your partner doesn't feel that she can embrace that love is meaningless. Because love is something that people want to feel. It's something that you want to say is really making a difference in your relationship. So the question is, buddies, how are you loving your wife? Does she feel it? Because you see, you and I have to understand that women work differently from men. Firstly, men love what they see. I mean, if we're honest, the gate that we work through is the eye gate. If our women can just understand, man, we sort of appreciate that when God used the clay that He used to put them together, I mean, He had fun. You know, He basically took it and He molded the clay and He gooit it. You know, He formed it and He shaped it and He shaped it. Man, did He do a good job? Oh, yes, He did. You know, and we love them when we just get married to them. But now that they're a 2-liter Coke bottle, we don't love them as much anymore. Guys, that's not the right way to do it. You love them anyway. Because love says that we need to love them unconditionally. And how do women work? Well, women work through the ear gate. They like what they hear. So your words have power. It's what you say to her that's going to change her mind about you. And I don't care how bad things are, but the moment you can actually express your love by speaking to them, they will start receiving it. One of the best pictures of love that we saw is in the Bible, as in Ephesians 5:25, where the word says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for her. What an awesome way you and I see how we need to love. Christ loved as He loved Himself. Now guys, I know we sometimes stand in front of that mirror when we shave and go, hello, you handsome hunk. But they don't always think that. Because women don't look at what we look like. They look deeper. They look to the inside. They care more about what you and I host here on the inside and what we bring forth from the inside. But as we see what the word says, gave himself up for her. Essentially, I want to say this to you. Are you prepared to take a bullet for your wife? Will you? Imagine it. You live in a country where there's a lot of crime and there's a situation and someone has to take the bullet. Will you literally take the bullet for her? I can just see so many movies, Mr. President. Yes, Mr. President. But that guy is trained to take the bullet. But you see, what the word wants to do is to train you and I to take the bullet for our wives. That's the way to do it. Now, this word love is so confusing in the English language because, we use one word to say, I love hamburgers, I love rugby, and I love my wife. Ladies, isn't that true? So when we express that love to our wives, it's so difficult for them to actually sense that we really love them because one word explains it. Thank heavens, the Bible was written in a language that is far more descriptive. So when the Bible speaks about love, it speaks of love in 5 different ways. He uses 5 different words, and I'm not going to try and make you Greek scholars, but I'm going to give you 5 different Greek words so you and I can understand what it means to love in a better way. You ready? Here we go. The first one is what you call storge. That's called the love of security. Storge, S-T-O-R-G-E, storge. But the importance to understand is the love that says, I feel secure in my husband's arms. You'll see if you refer back to where we spoke about how a man should lead, that the moment the guy stepped in front of his wife to protect her, she went like, oh, yes. And she held him because of the security that he brought. That's the kind of love that any woman wants firstly. She wants to feel secure in your love. You have to be the man. Someone has to get up just before we actually go to bed, is to lock the doors, check that the windows are closed if you're living downstairs, and to make sure that the alarm is on if you have an alarm. It's not the woman's job, guys. You're the man of the house. Because it's your opportunity to show her that you storge, that you love her with a love of security. Check all the things. And I know it's tough. Sometimes I just get to a point where I say, right now I don't feel like it. And then I just hear the word of God infiltrate my mind that says, but it's what I mandated you to do. I mandated you to love her with the love of storge. She must feel secure. So the question is, how secure does your partner feel right now with your love? Are they sort of insecure because they think, what's he doing at work? And he never gives me a call. He never sends me an SMS. Guys, it's little simple things. Because remember, what's the difference? We like what we see. They like what they hear. An SMS in the middle of the day to say, honey, I'm thinking of you. Oh, man. She'll just go, Yeah. See, ladies, you understand what I'm talking about. Because it's the security of love that you actually feel. You and I want to make sure that when we do that, we do exactly what God wanted us to do. And that's to love them with a love that is secure. What is the next kind of word? I'm going to teach you the next Greek word. It's the word phileo. Phileo means love that is friendly. A love that is friendly that says that you and I are best buddies. In fact, we like to be together. I can think of nothing else than wanting to be with my wife. Sometimes I have to test myself and say, are you codependent or what? But it's the truth. I love being with my partner. Whether it's at work, whether it's at home, we are blessed to actually work together. And by the way, I can tell you that very few people are blessed to work together that can work together. I see many couples that I have to help. They can't work together. But we're blessed we do. But phileo says, I want you to be my buddy. Now remember, she is as fine china to you, but she's not your china. Okay? Because when you start treating her as a china, you might just step down a little bit and become too cocky in that friendly relationship. Because there's a place where friends actually can spoil it because they become too neighborly with one another. Isn't that true? And even with our wives, it becomes too much of a platonic relationship. Friendship is great, but it's the deeper sense of plugging in, saying that I can't work without you. I don't like being without you. I want us to actually work on our friendship. What are the kind of things that you and I would do as couples to actually stir that friendship? What do two friends do? They should speak to each other. If you're not regularly communicating with your wife, making an effort just to phone every now and then to say, are you well? What are the kids like? I'm going to be late from work. Oh, by the way, guys, that's a big one. That's the best friend you can ever be. If you know you're going to be late, take responsibility, give her a call and say, I'm not going to arrive at 6 o'clock like usual, I'll be there at 6:30. That takes her back to the first love even more, to feel secure and to show that you're a good friend. You cared enough, because friendship is caring. It's communicating and it's caring. Another thing that a friendship love will do is to assist one another. Isn't it true there are some of your friends, your buddies, guys, you and I will know. There's some guys that you'll phone 4 o'clock in the morning and you won't blink because you know they're your best friend. I mean, isn't that something that you and I would do? You can phone your best buddy at 4 o'clock in the morning and say, I need you right now. I'm standing on the highway. I thought I had a spare wheel, but I haven't got one. And I've got no jack spanner. There's always a guy that you can phone. Now, I want to tell you, the first person that I can phone is my wife, because I know she will be ready to receive me as her friend. But a friendship has to be cultivated, because you and I are guilty of the fact that we think that if we don't speak to a person, that we have a friendship. Yes, there's something that is so forgiving. I think that's where Christ comes in. Some of your friends, whether you haven't seen them for 4 years, isn't it true with some of them that the moment you come and you hug them and how's it to have a cup of coffee, it's like, hey, it feels like I saw you yesterday. That's friendship. And that's the kind of friendship that you and I want to cultivate with our wives. So the first love that we talk about is the love that says security, storge. The second kind of love is what we call phileo, a friendship love or a friendly love. The third kind of love is really meant for married couples. It's called eros. That is the romantic, passionate kind of love that a husband and a wife should be sharing. Now, guys, I don't know why it is. You know, before we marry them, what do? We open the door for them. We speak on the phone and we tell them lovely things into their ears. We bring them flowers. And all of a sudden we get married to them, boom, we stop. And she says, but you don't show me that you love me. He says, well, of course I love you. I'm still here, am I not? That's not good enough, guys. A woman has to see it. There's this interflora thing. Have you ever seen what happens to a woman when you do give her the flowers? You open the door in your own smelly hand, and as you hand her the flowers, she does the interflora thing. Oh, yeah? It just happens, man. It's something that happens. Women love flowers. Now, that's a part of the romantic side of you that you want to do. Now, bear in mind, it's like a fire burning. Now, if you have a fire burning where you have to put the wood, if you don't add the wood regularly, what's going to happen? It's going to die down. So that's the same with your romantic kind of love, your eros. You have to put the wood in to keep the fire stoking, to keep the fire burning. And guess what you have to do every now and then? When the flame gets low, you have to get down and blow. And that's exactly what you have to do with your romantic love. Every now and then, you have to literally focus and gently blow your love over your wife so that she can feel loved, so that she can be reignited. And guys, we are rational and women are emotional. We will never understand why they get so emotional. In fact, when God said, love your wives, He told us 749 times in the Bible, love them. But only once, in 1 Peter 3:7, He says, men, live your wives with understanding. Because why? God knew. God shaped them, remember? He knew. To understand a woman is virtually impossible. So He only tells us once. But here's the trick. He says that if you do not live with them in understanding, your prayers will be hindered. That's that very same passage. It says that you're in heirs of grace. And this says, because your prayers will be hindered. In other words, turn it around. When you and I do not live with them, or at least try to live with them in understanding, guess what happens? When you pray, your prayers will hit the ceiling. So guys, is your relationship on hold with God because you can't break through? Because it bounces against the ceiling? It's because of this one thing. You have not made up with your wife. Your love that you blow over her is not there. And you need to do something to reignite it. Now, here's the big thing that men do. We sometimes, men, you know, we like bulls in a china shop. We step into it and we want to make up. So we haven't bought flowers for 10 years. Now, all of a sudden we messed up and now we buy flowers. What's the first thing she thinks? What did you do wrong? Isn't that true? So don't surprise her because you did it once in 10 years. If you do it more regularly, she will know it's a love forthcoming, because that is your way to put another log onto the fire, to actually help them. So we've had a love of storge, which is love of security. We've had phileo, the friendly love. We've had eros, which is that romantic, passionate love. But there's one love that goes deeper than eros, and this is definitely only for married couples, and it's called epithumio. Epi is skin, thumio is heart. So it really means hot under the skin. Now that is a fire kind of love. That is the burning passion. That is where your passion has now gone into, in fact, you know what the Bible says? It's the kind of love that it becomes lust-like. Not lustful, but lust-like. That is the kind of love where a man gets so excited about his woman, and a woman gets so excited about her man, that they just want to eat each other up. Isn't that wonderful? Because God made it that way. But He made it and ordained it for marriage. He wants you to be married. He says, here's the freedom. I want you to know that love has been made in a specific way and for a way for you to live. And if you want to know God's way of loving in the right way, go to 1 Corinthians 7, verse 3 to 6. God gives 6 steps in terms of His mandate of His sexual love that He wants to see between a husband and a wife. That's another teaching, but study it for yourself. Because this epithumia that I'm speaking of is explained in there. God says to you, you really want to make sure that the two of you get together enough. I want you to come into union because I ordained it. And it says your body doesn't belong to you, but it belongs to your wife. And your wife's body doesn't belong to her, but it belongs to the husband as well. And then it says, do not deprive one another, which is an instruction. Do not deprive each other. And then it says, maybe for a time, when you come into agreement, and then come together again. But you know what's so beautiful? That instruction is very strong. It's an imperative from God that says, you must do this. Why? And He gives the answer. So that the devil doesn't tempt us beyond what we can endure. So make sure that when you want to live this epithumia every now and then, that you do it God's way. 1 Corinthians 7, verse 3 to 6. Go and study it for yourself. But there's one more way that we can love. And that is agape. Now that is the love of fulfillment. That is a love that says, unconditionally do I love you, and I surrender my right to love you. Now, it's so easy to choose our love, but now we must love our choice. And the agape love says, I will choose you anyway. Whether I like you or not, I choose to love you. I know that Michelle will say the same as I would say. Sometimes, I don't like her very much, but I choose to love her because we're human. I don't know about you, we do have our disagreements. Because it's so easy. We fall in like and then we fall in love. But now we must fall in keep. Because it's keeping that love is a choice that you make. You choose to love, but you love your choice. Sometimes you look at what has happened to us. I mean, if I look at myself, I look in the mirror, man, gravity is real. Things are starting to sag. This face is starting to sag. It's real. And it doesn't matter how old you are, love can become more and more beautiful. Because the agape love that we have says, I will love you unconditionally. I will sacrifice myself for you. So those are the 5 kind of loves that we have. Then, did you know that you can speak a language to your partner and they haven't got a clue what you're saying to them? I mean, just imagine if I stood here today and I said, Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren, wie geht's? Ich bin sehr gut. Bist du wohl? Anybody understood that? Okay, one person. You're German. Yes. But the rest of you, I must be speaking Greek to the rest of you. Because I just quoted Greek. But the truth is, what does it help to speak in a language to your partner? And she goes like, what are you speaking? I don't get it. Because what it's really about is that when you speak your language, we call it a love language. You need to speak in such a way that they say, I get it. I understand it. Now, with the liberty of Dr. Gary Chapman that wrote the book, we can tell you that there are 5 different ways that you and I will want to interpret our love languages. And the first way is words of encouragement. What does words of encouragement say? Words of encouragement says that when you speak to me in that dialect, I receive it in such a way that I want to just fly through the sky. Man, I just feel fantastic when you speak to me. It's words that uplift me. It's words that encourage me. It's words that make me feel wonderful. So these are the kind of people that love to be complimented. And that's how they want to receive their love. You can give them love in many other ways. But this one way, when you give them a love that's a compliment, It's words of encouragement. They fly like kites. I'm happy to be married to Michelle, and man, her love language is words of encouragement. And one day she asked me something very serious. And she said to me, how do I look? And I made this fatal error, and I said, nice. Oh man, nice. You could have said wonderful. You could have said fantastic. You could have said awesome. Nice. Guys, okay. We once had a big fight when it came to communication. We had to answer each other in terms of how good did we project was our epithumio, that part of the intimate love that a husband and wife share. And I wrote great with capital letters. I was in trouble. Great. You mean it could have been awesome, it could have been exciting, but great. So you see that the way that you speak is not always the way your partner receives it. Because why? Her love language, the dialect that she wants to receive that love is words of encouragement. So how you say everything is measured. That's the first kind of love language that we speak. The second love language is what we call quality time. Now quality time says, I love being with you. I want you to spend quality time with me. Now guys, quality time is not getting her to the golf course and ask her to caddy for you. That's not quality time. And the other mistake we make is we go to the movies and say, but I've taken you to a movie. Being in a movie doesn't mean that quality time is in action. Yes, you're together, but you're not interacting. Because quality time has got two things, and that is quality activity and quality conversation. So that is the next dialect. How much time are you spending with that person if they want you to spend quality time with them? That's for you to choose. We've had now words of encouragement. We've had quality time. The third one is gifts. Gift says, I love it when you just give me gifts. I love it when you come and just give me a little gift. And normally here's the trick. It's little gifts. It doesn't have to be a big diamond ring, although nobody's going to say no to a diamond ring. But it's a small gift. It's just going to the shop and saying, I was thinking of you while I was out there. The gifts that you bring. Not many people have got this love language, but some of them do. Then the fourth one is called acts of service. It's a kind of love that is so serving that it serves the partner. You normally do the thing that they hate doing, like taking out the rubbish for them, or wash the dishes for them if they hate doing it. It's serving them in a way that says, you take away any aspect of where I have to serve and you serve in my place. They love it when you show them. So serving is the fourth one. And the last one, well, it's touch, physical touch. Now, the number one mistake that we make is that we think that sex is touch. No, no, no. Sex is one little part of the last dialect of physical touch. Physical touch says, like this couple over here, somebody's got a love language of physical touch, because why are they holding hands? You're always in connection, and they will start smiling when I speak that way because it's real. Physical touch is, even if you're touching, there's another couple. Even if we're touching with feet under the table, it'll be physical touch. So it's the dialect that you and I speak that really brings us all together. Then physical touch also says something else. It is more than sex. It really says, it's saying that you love me when you hold me, you hug me, and you stroke me. And it doesn't mean sex. Now that is very important for the person whose dialect was touch. Hug me, hold me, and stroke me. There's nothing like when you sit in a setting like this, if you just let your hand go and you just scratch the backs a bit, oh, they love it. And they love back rubs, by the way. Anytime you say, oh yeah, I do more of that. I'm one of those, because my love language is touch. But it's not necessarily sex. So there we have those 5 different dialects that says that's how we can love each other. Can we repeat them? Words of encouragement, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and lastly, physical touch. But you see, men, this is about love, and this is how you and I must love our wives. So the way to love them is by showing their love to them. Now in Ephesians 5, there's one more place where God says how you and I must love our wives. He says you and I need to do 3 things when we love them. He says this, make her holy, wash her with the word, and present her radiant. Now how do you and I, there's a parallel between Christ and the church, make her holy if she is responsible for her own behavior? Well, we make her holy by what she does. Because you help her to become a better woman. You give her the answers when she needs it, and you live out your role of leadership. I believe if you lead a woman, you will help her become holy. And then wash her with the word. How do you and I wash her with the word? Well, by speaking the word over them. Proverbs 18:21 says that the tongue is the power of life or death. You know, if you're complaining the whole day, if you're saying, yeah, but she's this and she's that and she's that, and you speak negatively, guess what? You'll get what you asked for. Isn't it crazy? If we spend the same amount of time that we spend in getting our women, if we spend the same amount of time in keeping them, half our problems are solved. Think about it. How much time we spent. That's exactly what we will do. Wash her with the word, and then make her radiant. How do you and I make our women radiant? Well, we make them radiant by making sure that we spend so much time with them that when we do, they absolutely blossom. Michelle, can I ask you to quickly come here, please? I think this is the illustration that I'd like to just share with you. When God says that He actually wants you to really, number one, make her holy, it's like putting a cloth around her, the cloak of the Word. That's what you and I want to do. But when He says, wash her with the Word, it's like we take this whole cloak and we just take it and we put it over them so that really she is covered. She is covered by the Word that really protects her. So that when this gets removed, is she smiling? Now she's smiling. That when she then looks at you, she is absolutely radiant. And you know, that is the power of the Word. You can take with that. So cloak her with the way that you treat her. So guys, it's all about love. You know, we do crazy things about love. And with that song that I sang in the beginning, crazy little thing called love, I want you to get crazy, man. Go and do something. Buy flowers, buy chocolates, take her out for a date. But do something that you want to do. And gentlemen, remember, there's really 5 ways that you can show your love to them. And there's 5 love languages as to how you bring this together. But here is the thing. Love your choice and choose to love her all the time, God's way.